Welcome to the first episode of Room Service, a new series where we, well, you guessed it, we order room service and we talk to the who's who of hospitality in some of the most glamorous suites in hotels around the world. So today I'm super excited to be here in the penthouse suite at the Mercer with one of the OGs of hospitality, Richard Bourne. We have ordered our food. That is going to be coming soon, but I wanted to just get started by talking a little bit about you before we start eating. So this is your hotel, and you're the man behind a lot of sort of legendary hotels. Were you always a hotel enthusiast? Because I heard you started in medicine.
I did start in medicine. I did 4 years of medical school and 4 years of surgical residency, and took a leave of absence in the mid-'80s to explore different things. Got a job as a real estate broker, and then ended up owning a Howard Johnson's at Newark Airport, which was really, really sexy.
That is really almost just like what we're doing right now.
Yeah. And the good news is that despite all of the disasters, we survived, learned a lot, continued to make mistakes along the way, but then somehow in late 80s, early 90s, decided that people wanted less routine in their hospitality. Well, certainly a segment of the population wanted to blend their lifestyle with hospitality. So the Mercer was born.
And this is so much of sort of that boutique hotel experience where it is the opposite of the big box or the opposite of a Hojo's. What made you want to sort of go in that round, like sort of be a little bit more surgical, I guess, in a way about creating a hospitality experience? In
the late 80s, early 90s, I was friends with Steve Rebell, and we spent a lot of time talking about, direction of career, And I think they did the first, what we would call boutique or lifestyle, which was the Morgan's Hotel in Midtown. We did something much more pioneering. We came downtown, because Soho in the 1990s was not what Soho was. It was truly factories and lofts, and it was pretty dingy. And the idea that we would, A, come this far downtown, and B, do a truly luxurious hotel, was crazy.
What, day one opening the doors here, how did it feel?
Day one opening the doors, we were still in construction, and we just decided to open. We actually printed up some T-shirts that said I stayed at the Mercer before it was open. And
do you still have those? Can I get one?
We can try to dig them out. But people, fell in, and we had an enormous following, really in the fashion business. Karl Lagerfeld lived in the lobby.
Really?
Calvin Klein lived in this suite.
In this one?
Yeah, Calvin Klein checked into this suite. It was years later, about 10 years later. He checked in on a nightly basis and stayed for 2.5 years.
It really is still, I feel like, such a place where you don't necessarily know who the people in the lobby are, but there's someone. Do you ever just sit around your lobby and look around and think, the years since this opened, how it's changed and how you have really kind of formed what the neighborhood became?
I'd like to think that the neighborhood built around us. I think that might be too grand a statement, but I definitely think we were contributing.
I think having the vision to go in early, because what was this building originally?
When we bought it, it was a gutted out building. Yeah. And when we did a big party for Louis Vuitton here before we started construction. And they came in and staged the whole ground floor and basement, and they did a big blowout party for probably 500-600 people.
And I know it's not just the fashion industry. Kanye and Jay-Z recorded an album here too. Tell us about that.
All these vocals recorded at the Mercer Hotel.
I'm going to Kanye's thing. Jay-Z's there too, and he was at the Mercer Hotel. They had rented the whole hotel out.
I haven't a clue. I haven't a clue.
Have you listened to it?
I haven't a clue. I probably listened to it, but I probably couldn't identify that was the album.
What's the magic that draws, whether you're a fashion person, you're a music person, you're a celebrity, that brings you into the Mercer? Because I have my own opinions.
I think there are two parts to it. First of all, the Mercer is clearly understated. There's very little flash. It's very quiet. And I think it's the history of all the luminaries who have stayed here over the years, who have been coming back. And we are now the grand dame of boutique hotels. I think we're the first truly luxury boutique hotel that kind of established the credibility of the product. And I think we are 25 years later, but we're still relevant.
I think the food is here, so we're gonna get to eat. I know you guys are undergoing a renovation, and the food, which we're gonna get now, is part of that too. That you opened Sartanos. Yay! This is a lot of stuff.
Okay.
We're gonna take the trays away.
Thanks. Oh, can I get a napkin? I'm about to make a mess. This is great. Thanks. So we got it. Sartanos is new. You're also renovating the hotel right now, which we might hear a little bit of work going on in the background. Where is the renovation? And then I want to hear all about Sartanos.
The renovation, we had obviously done the restaurant, we've done the lobby, and the rooms are about 50% complete.
It's amazing. So all of the food that we're having up here, this is from Sartanos,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So if you can't call in a favor and get a dinner reservation, you could just book a room.
You can rent a room.
There
There's
you go.
no
You
question.
can come and get the food this way.
Exactly.
Well, tell me, do you have? I'm just gonna get this food out because I ordered the messiest thing and it's probably gonna not look so great. So I'm gonna let you talk while I try to eat this.
Ask a question. I'll babble while you.
All right. This is just gonna get messy. I'm so sorry ahead of time. Okay, favorite thing on the menu downstairs, and you ordered the granola upstairs. Downstairs, you're going for dinner. What are you having?
Downstairs, number one, I don't eat meat. So
Oh, you don't eat meat?
I'm restricted. But I do love the lasagna. I do love the I do love the Sartianos lasagna.
I'm sure it's really good.
Yeah. Do you want to switch for this interview? You can have my.
I had the beef tartare. I had the raw cow, and it was fantastic. This is very good. Okay, where do you have a favorite night there? Is there like a time where you think it's like particularly buzzy, or do you like it on a quieter night?
Yeah, I had a quieter night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's beyond insane. My favorite time is Sunday afternoon.
Have you seen, will you share, any really great stories of anything particularly wild, whether it is up here in the hotel or downstairs in the restaurant or Mercer?
When we closed the hotel, the restaurant, we made a big blowout party downstairs.
Yeah.
And Jean-Georges put together the invite list with the hotel. And there were two lists. One was everybody friends and family, guests, and the other list was the original list from the 1996 opening party.
Wow.
And it was, I could not believe that so many people actually fit into what was Mercer Kitchen, which is in Sartianos, but there had to have been 500 people there.
Wow.
There had to have been 200 people in the Sub Mercer.
It's funny to me when you think about Soho that is like, there's the Soho of when you were in your 20s, and then there's the Soho of your 40s and the Soho of your 60s, and that this has become this like timeless neighborhood where what's cool isn't actually pegged to an age. Like it's actually pegged to a vibe and to an energy, and I think the Mercer totally is that.
And I think people are involved. I recently was speaking to my friend and partner Eric Good, who's my partner in Bowery and Maritime, and he told me that he had stored art in the sub basement here, and he said that he had 2 herrings and a Basquiat disappear.
What?
Now I'm going to make the assumption that they weren't monumental. But he said, I don't know what happened to it. Somehow, one day they were there, one day they were gone.
And have they ever been found?
I don't think they've ever been found.
Maybe the people who were drilling are in the process of finding the Basquiat.
We'll let you know.
We'll find out. We have some rapid fire questions that.
Okay, I'll try.
Are you ready for this? Do you want to have a bite of your food first?
I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee.
Have a little caffeine.
I obviously need to be on alert.
Get ready. Okay. Favorite space in this hotel?
There's a little niche off the lobby.
I love
right
that.
by the front desk.
Yes.
With a little couch and 2 chairs, and there's a set of doors that close. And that's sort of my little office here.
Yep.
When I have to meet people, and discuss the hotel renovation, which I don't want to do in the lobby in front of the guests. I close those little doors.
Favorite thing to do in Soho?
I do like breakfast here, and I do like brunch at Sartiano's. And I'll have to confess, I do like going to Finelli's across the street.
2 a.m. room service order. What are you asking for?
Anything with fries.
Anything with fries.
Right.
Good answer. What do you think is the most underrated hotel amenity in a room?
Reading light.
Ooh. What do you think is the most important thing? What can you not live without in a hotel room?
a bed, a toilet, a shower.
That's got it.
I like a good minibar,
Okay.
and my wife likes good closet space. So
What are you eating out of the minibar?
mostly nuts,
Okay.
and then later in the day, perhaps one of the alcohol selections.
I feel like we should just check this minibar and make sure that it has nuts and good booze. I think it
it
probably
won't
does.
when I leave.
What's next for you and BD Hotels? Because we're here, the renovation is going on, we've got an amazing new restaurant, but like given what you've done in your career, my hunch is you're not just sitting around and calling it a day with that.
We have just broken ground on what is going to be a spectacular hotel in West Palm Beach.
Ooh.
I will say I did the facade.
Yeah.
And when I say I did the facade, I cut and pasted Addison Meisner works.
Really?
And when I say I cut and pasted Addison Meisner, I don't mean I did that on a computer. I mean I printed out black and white copies. I sat down at a table after all of the architects and designers were working on facades, and we rejected 20 facades. I literally printed out pictures of Addison Meisner buildings. I cut and pasted them with the scissor and Scotch tape, and I sent it around, and that's what we built.
It's very cold here right now. When can we go?
You can go tomorrow, you just can't stay there.
Okay, when can we stay?
We're opening in Labor Day 2026.
I'm really excited that you're bringing this down to Palm Beach.
Yeah. This is my cut and paste figure
Wow.
that I did, and that became that.
It's gorgeous. Okay, so it's new construction. It looks sort of in the vein.